marcha atrás un poco.
English.
Yeah. Today we're going to explain a couple of the things that we learned that need to be explained a little bit, really. So I'm going to go back, not to the very beginning, but we're going to go back a bit to the beginning of the Torah. The Torah starts that the nefashot, everybody wants to be with money or with people with money, and everybody loves money. Even the poor people prefer the company of the rich people. All the more so the rich people. So the reason for that, we said, is because the makom, the place where the nefashot come from, and the mammon comes from, is one and the same place. So here I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then I'm going to give you a little explanation. So we'll progress, we'll sharpen the Torah a little bit here. It says, "Ve'achar kach," the very beginning, a few lines, you'll see it. "Ve'achar kach nitgashem lemata." However, this hashpa'ah, the lower it comes, it's hashpa'ah of good, obviously, the more it becomes gashmiut. The place where it comes from, the money, is all ruhniut, all good. The only thing is, as it comes down and down and down and down and down, so it becomes money. So it says, "Kederech ha'ishtalshelut zenithaveh mamon," and that's how money comes into being. "Ve'al ken ha'nefesh te'eva la'mamon," and that is the reason why you see, bechush, that the nefesh of a person wants money, has a ta'ava. Wanting is one thing. Ta'ava is a desire. It's a physical pleasure, even, money. And the reason for that is because it comes from the same place. So holy place, it comes from the money, from the nefesh of a person. And therefore, it's like family. Okay. So I'm going to...
Just a quick question. So
I'm going to read you what Rabbi
The fact of wanting money is not bad, because if we wouldn't want money, we wouldn't look for money. No, we wouldn't go to work. We wouldn't be worried of the money. No,
I can't hear you.
What I'm saying is the fact of wanting money. You hear me?
I can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Check your earphone.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Yes, we can all hear you.
Okay, somebody other than Eric maybe can talk, say something, so I'll see where the problem is, me or Eric.
Hello, how are you, Rabbi?
Mesod, say something.
I think it's your problem.
Carry on talking.
Yeah, no, you can listen to me, yeah?
Carry on.
No problem at all.
What?
Where are you reading? I cannot find
The fact of wanting money, it's a good thing, because it makes us at least wanting something that we need. It's like is something that we need to live. I understand. Is it right?
No, we're not talking about that. It's what you're saying is correct, but that's not what we are learning.
So the difference between
That you need money to live. That you need money to live. You don't need to learn the Likutey Moharan for that.
No, but you have to. No, but you're saying the difference between want and desire. Desire is
I don't understand where you're coming from, really, but I'll explain.
Okay.
I'll explain it again. What Rabbi Nachman is saying. Rabbi Nachman is saying that the fact that you see that people love money, they get a physical pleasure out of money, is unusual. So he wants to explain why that is so. It's a secret. So he says, money is a very holy thing. Very. Why? It's because you and the money, the real you, your neshama, your nefesh, come from the same place. You got that? Nothing to do with wanting, with needing to work so that you can eat. Nothing to do with that. It's explaining an enigma. Money. Why do people run after money? Everybody is running after money. Why? That's all.
But originally, when there was no money, it was riches. That's all, no?
Yeah, that's what it means, money.
The same thing, yeah? Okay.
Money means possessions, gold. Okay, so we're going to try and get away a little bit from the material side of life. So we understand what it is that we have around us. Money is always around us. To know how to have the right perspective, how to know how to handle money so that you can have a good life. Now, I'm going to read you what Rabbi Nathan explains on the line that I just read. So Rabbi Nathan says like this, I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then I'm going to explain it. השורש העליון הזה הוא הרצון. This shoresh, from where your neshama comes, and the money is something called, is a hechal called of ratzon. Ratzon is when you desire something. There is a place called ratzon, wanting, desiring, ambition. אפילו המילה כסף רומזת לכך. Silver or money, because in the old days, the most common type of money for buying things like groceries and so on and so forth was silver, because you're not going to take gold to buy your groceries. Gold is too much. So they gave it the name of money, but what it means is silver. So in Hebrew, if you know, say for example, mincha, you say the mizmor, you say there, נחשפה וגם קלטה נפשי. What does that mean? נחשפה וגם קלטה נפשי. לחצרות השם ליבי ובשרי. Means I have a yearning for you, Hashem. My heart, my flesh is yearning to be with you. So you see that the word kesef in itself, the shoresh of the word kesef, is this ratzon to cleave to Hashem. Kesef means ratzon. That's the place. It's a place where it's full of ratzon to cleave to Hashem. כיוון שהיא קשורה למילה כיסופים. כיסופים means yearning. געגועים המבטאים את רצון האדם. Person leaves his home, leaves his wife and kids for a week or two, and then expression, distance, makes the heart grow fonder. And you're dying to come back home. So imagine that you were once with Hashem, your neshama, the beauty of that. Then you come down to this world, a world full of tumah, a world full of miksholim and difficulties and nisyonot. So you want to go back to what you remember. So that place, this place where you came from, is the world called Ratzon. because you have a yearning to go back there again. You remember something, you don't remember everything, because that's the way it has to be. Hashem gives you free will, so you forget everything. You forget, otherwise, if you remember this world, easy schmeezy, very easy. I'll go on. בדומה לכך, so too, גם המילה נפש, the word nefesh in Hebrew means the spiritual side of the person, but it has another meaning. יכולה להתפרש כרצון. It also means this will, this yearning. כמו שפירש רש"י, if you look at the Chumash in Rashi, when Abraham Avinu wants to buy the Me'ara Machpelah a few parashiyot ago, so when he's talking to the Chitim that they should go to Ephron so that they can sell him the Me'ara Machpelah so he can bury his wife Sarah, so he tells them, by the Beritam Lemor, and he speaks to them and he says to them, Im yesh et nafshechem likvor et meti milefanai. If your ratzon is that I should be able to bury my dead, means my wife Sarah, ufig'u li be'Efron ben Sohar. Please bring me to Ephron ben Sohar so I can buy the. So you see that nefesh in Hebrew also means yearning, ratzon. That is why, because the shoresh of what a nefesh is, what you are in be'emet is yearning for Hashem. Yearning for something that is more beautiful than your family, more beautiful than the house of your parents. Is the parents of all parents. Is Hashem Yitbarach. Ultimate pleasure, beautiful music. The most beautiful music, most beautiful pleasures in the world, the most something that we remember, but in the subconscious, we're not really. So that is the place where money comes from, and the place where you come from. Okay. Little by little, you will understand more and more. I'm going to carry on next line. But a person has to be careful, obviously, not to like the thing, not to like the money. As we see in many, many places, Rabbi Nachman and the Torah tell you how bad it is that a person should dedicate his whole life to money. So here I'm also going to explain in depth what Rabbi Nachman in other Torot says about money so that you can understand that something needs to be explained. Here he seems to be glorifying money, and in other places he's putting it down. He gives you a warning here, but it needs to be explained. Mesod pointed that out. He said, hey, wait a minute, we know that money is not so good. It's like avodah zarah, this and that. Okay. So now we're going to explain it a little bit. We're going to be marhiv, the whole inyan. If you look in the Likutey Moharan, in Torah Chav Gimel, in the first paragraph there, I'm going to read it to you. Rabbeinu there bring ta'avat betza magbila le'avodah zarah. When a person loves money and he runs after money, it's like he's serving idolatry. Le'atzvut ve'afilu lamavet. And he's serving depression, because that is the quickest way to depression, and even to death. In other words, he's committing what they say suicide. That's what Rabbeinu says. He goes as far as that. Now, later in that Torah, if you go to the 5th paragraph, he says like this. Sheshefa hamamon, shefa means Shefa is when you have, like when you open the shower, you have a constant flow of water. Shefa means a constant flow of bracha. That's what shefa means in Hebrew. ששפע הממון בשורשו כולו אור צח ומצוחצח. The shefa of mammon is as if you can imagine the most pure of light in the world, the purest of purest of purest, the whitest and cleanest type of light in the world. ותענוג רוחני, and there's no bigger spiritual pleasure than money. ואין מתעבה אלא למטה, but it only becomes something gashmi as soon as it hits. We'll see the malchut. As you know, there are sefirot, 10 sefirot, and it goes from the keter, you know, all the 10 sefirot, like you have chokhmah, bina, chesed, gvura, tifereth, nesah, hod, yesod, malchut. So the neshamot of Am Yisrael are born of a zivug. Zivug means between the chokhmah and the bina. Eventually, everything lands in malchut, and so too does money. Money also lands there. And then they come into this world. Then at that point, your neshama goes inside the goof, and the money becomes money. That's the goof. The goof of that light is the money. And you become a human being. But you come from the same place. בדומה לכך רבנו משווה את התאוות הבצע לעבודה זרה לדינים וגבורות. And then he goes back again and he says, but it's עבודה זרה. Needs to be understood. So he says, הוא מלמד שהתאוות הוא מקור העיקרי לחוסר אמונה. Rabbeinu makes a point of telling you that a person that runs after money is because he doesn't have faith. Like we've said before, if a person has enough money to finish the day, and he worries about tomorrow, he's a miktane amana. He's like, he doesn't have a lot of emunah. And we explained it. The Baal Shem Tov, he was a millionaire, because everybody used to come to him for brachot, and yet, every night he used to give away all the money. He went to sleep a popa, because he says, too much fun not to have money and to beg Hashem to help me. Having money is boring. I don't like it. It's not fun enough for me. So every night he used to give everything away. Real fun, real life. Connection to Hashem. Please Hashem help me. Please Hashem give me money. So you look at the Sipurei Ma'asiyot if you want also. If you look at Yud Bet, there's a one, it's called Ma'aseh Ba'al Tfilah. It's a very interesting one. I advise you to learn it together. Eliyahu is an expert in those things. He can read it for you, and you can have a lot of fun. Read it. It's kedai. It will remind you of Gibraltar. But anyway, read it. It's very interesting, no, really, seriously. And there, he's meganeh. He puts down people that are running after money. In other words, people that look at you and they put you in a frame. They don't look at you. They look at how much money you have. If you have $1 million, you've got a frame of $1 million. If you have 2 million, you've got a frame of 2 million. If you have anything under $1 million, you're an animal. You're a bird, or a donkey, or a dog. Read it, it's interesting. They don't look at you. They look at your money. Teach it to the Chevre, Eliyahu. Make a Chevruta there one day on Shabbat and learn it together, because it's a very important Torah, that. Mamash important. Okay, so now I'm going to go forward a little bit, and we'll carry on explaining. Yeah, for sure. That's what's happening. That is why we're in the matzav that we are, because things don't move. The rich want to become richer, and the poor are becoming poorer. That is the problem. That is this whole thing in a nutshell. That's why nothing moves. Money doesn't move, and the virus doesn't move. Hashem says, you want to be like this? I'm going to show you now. A virus doesn't move. Whatever you do, it doesn't move. If things would move, in other words, if things should be the way they should be, it means that everybody can make money, and money would move, and everybody would be fair, and not be tzarayi, not like my father should be in a good world used to say. his motto was, you have to live and you have to let live. Not just everything for you. Very important that, to give people business, to help them, to have a ayin tova, not a ayin sara. You go into a place and you figure, I'm looking at everything. Maybe my shoes have disappeared from under my feet even. Al kol panim. So it says, רק להתאבות ולאהוב את המקום שהממון בא משתלשל משם. In other words, when you see a person that has money, or when you look at money, you shouldn't love money. You should love the place where that money came from, because that comes from Hashem Yitbarach, Yashar. So obviously this has to be explained, because really what this is going to lead you to is what you should love. If you love the place where it comes from, so what you should love is what you can do with that money, good that you can do with that money. So the first step is that you should have respect for money. You should respect it, just like you respect a mezuzah or a sefer Torah or the tefillin. When you look at money, you should look at it as something holy, because what you can do with money is tremendous. Yeah?
Isn't it like a tool? Money is a tool. For you to
a tremendous tool.
It's a tool you're born with. It's a tool you're born with.
That's how you see it, like a tool.
No, it's a tool. Yeah, it's imperative. It's imperative for a person that wants to be Obed Hashem that he should have money.
Exactly.
Because it's going to help you a lot, but as we know, just like when you want to go from Gibraltar to Eretz Israel, you need a passport. It's very good to come to Eretz Israel, but if you don't have a passport with your photo, they won't let you in.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the passport? Is that you shouldn't lose your temper. Hashem says you can have money. You're giving shiurim, you're learning Torah, you're a very nice guy. But if you want the money, the passport is that you shouldn't lose your temper. So every time you're about to make a lot of money, they'll give you a test. And the test is not going to be easy. It's not easy at all. If it would be easy, we would all be rich. It's very difficult even. If you pass, you get the money. So let's learn a little bit more. So we're going to learn a little bit of like Cabala in a very simple way, so that you understand this thing about the money, where it comes from in the Sfirot and all that. It's interesting. Now, what Rabbi Nachman is saying here is like this. Rabbi Nachman is a very great Mekubal, so he writes in a way that he comes from the same place, and you have to know the Kitvei HaArizal and the Ramak and so on and so forth to understand what he's saying. I'll read you a little bit so that you know at least the basis of what Rabbi Nachman is saying here. Now, Rabbi Nachman is explaining to you here the tzura, the shape, the physical shape that money takes, or that your neshama takes in a human body, right? And the light that is within the money and within the human being, the body. It's like a levush, so to speak. It's like clothing, because the clothing hides the nudity of the body. So the money is hiding the light. The body is hiding the neshama. Now, it says like this. The money, the shoresh, we said, is in the ratzon. Now, the ratzon is tied up to the highest sfira, which is sfirat haketer. This, he says in the Pardes Rimonim of the Ramak. Now, from the keter, there's a shefa ruhani. From the keter, it goes to the chokhmah. From the chokhmah, it goes to the bina. That's a zivug between the mother and the father. In Hebrew, that's called Abba ve'ima. It's a way of talking. Abba ve'ima, because they are molid all the other sfirot, all the other 8 sfirot. From there it goes to chesed. That's the child. Za'ir and pin is the small face. Abba ve'ima is arich and pin, is the big face, the parents. The children is chesed gvura. Now, when it's in chokhmah and binah, even though it's already on the left side, the binah, the ratzon goes from keter. Ratzon means the yearning for Hashem, means the knowledge of Hashem, the nostalgia for Hashem. So from there it goes to the binah. At that point, when it's in the mother, after the zivug between the father and the mother, we're talking about Kabbalistic things. We're not talking about, a zivug gufani. It's talking about deep things. But this is it, as you know, what you know of a zivug, but you should look at it in ruhniyut, and little by little, you will understand more and more. It's a zivug. It's coming together. Each one strengthens the other. So the Abba gives to the, and the Ina gives to the Chesed, Chesed gives to the Gvura, and so on and so forth until they get to Malchut. And from Malchut, they dive into this world. The money takes on the shape of money, the light takes on the shape of money in the Olam HaAsiyah, in this physical world, and the Neshama takes on the shape of a body, of a human being, the way you look at us, the way we all are. That's how it goes. So now it says like this. So that you get pure connection with Hashem without any Yetzirah. So that means that your body will help you. The fact that you behave with Hashem with simplicity, you say, Hashem, you're my father, you love me, whatever it is that I have to do, I'm not going to do averot, so that I don't have to go through difficulties. So since I've tried my best, so now I have emunah that you're going to help me. You go like that with Hashem, so Hashem will make it that the body, the levush that you have, will help you to feel this love that Hashem has for you, so that you have this yearning, and that sweetens your day. Everything goes good. You have a charm, like Yosef had. Yosef had this special charm. Wherever he went, he found chen in the eyes of everybody. Whether it's in the house of Potiphar, whether it's in the prison, whether it's in the house of Paro, he always came to the top. Why? Because he had chen. Why? Because he had emunah in Hashem. If we have time, maybe we can talk about that, how that ties up with this Torah. How a person like Yosef became really the richest man in the world. Not only did he give the advice that they should put everything, meaning within the 7 years of Sova, they should put all that produce away so that they can support the whole world, but he actually did it in such a way that it didn't rot, because everybody else's rotted, all the food. And eventually, as you see in the parasha of the week, they all had to come to Yosef. They gave him all his money, all their money to buy. Then they gave him their animals. Then when they had no animals, they gave him their home. And then he told them, now, so that you don't have a chazakah, so you don't make adverse possession, and you say, look, even though it's not mine because I sold it to you, since I've lived in here for 13 years, it belongs to me. So he got everybody to move. Nobody could stay in the same house. So eventually, what did he become? He became the owner of the world, basically, because he owned everything. So you see, Yosef is a perfect example of a person that money runs after him, wherever he went. And the answer to that is, since we're talking about that, I'll give you a shot how I can tie up the parasha of the week to what we are learning. Is because if you think about it, he should have hated his brothers the way they hated him. They had no right to hate him because he never did them any harm. But they hated him and he didn't hate them. So that's a very unusual thing. When they went to Mitzrayim, they thought that he was going to kill them. They were scared. They never dared to be with him, even after he told them that I'm forgiving you and so on, without the Father being there. Because he says, all the while that the Father's alive, he's not going to kill us because he loves Papi. You know, he's not going to kill us. But when the Father, when Yaakov passed away, they all started shaking again. Years and years later, he still felt. And it's a well-known thing that whatever you think, it's clearly in the Gemara, kola posel bemumo posel. When you think somebody wants to do you harm, it's because you want to do him harm. That's how it is, because they still hated him. But Yosef loved them and he helped them. Why? Where do you see that from? Because he said to them, Atem chashavtem lera'a, you thought that you were doing me harm. Ve'aelokim hasheva letova. But God did it so that I can help you, so that I can provide for you, so that you can have a home, so that I can fight the Yetzer Hara here with Potiphar's wife and all the other women in Mitzrayim that were all prutzot, so that when the children of Am Yisrael come to Mitzrayim, they will be able to withstand the Chet of Gilui Arayot. So he prepared in Ruhniyut and in Gashmiyut, and all because he didn't get upset. He never got upset, even when somebody said, you can imagine, it's not an easy thing if you say, your brother steal your money. Okay, say that you hate them. Okay. But if they want to steal your money, but they want to steal your life also, they want to kill you, they try to kill you, only they did not succeed, you have a very good reason for hating them. And Yosef, not only did he not hate them, but he loved them and helped them. And because of that, you see a kiyum of what Rabbi Nachman is teaching us. He became the richest man in the world. Okay, let's go on a little bit. דהיינו, שיזכה שיהיה לו רצון מופלג חזק מאוד אליו יתברך בהשתוקקות נמרץ מאוד. If you want to really love Hashem and you want to make it easy for yourself, the first thing that you have to do is to be positive. Don't complicate your avodat Hashem. Because if you do, you will find it difficult to love Hashem. Obviously, you must not do anything that you feel is wrong. Because if you do, then you're gonna, the averot are gonna be a masach. They're not gonna let you feel that love. But provided that you don't do averot, there's an extra thing that you have to do, and that is to serve Hashem in a simple way. Don't complicate your life. Don't look for humrot. Look always for things to do. Come from the side of chesed towards Hashem and towards your fellow Jews and humanity in general. So, until you're going to feel so much love for Hashem that you won't know what to do with it. Lo que en español se dice escalofrío. When you feel so much pleasure that you feel that your skin, all the hair standing on end from the pleasure that you're going to feel. So I'm going to carry on a little bit more. ובבחינת זו, I mean the text I'm going to explain, Rabbi mechabed ashirim. So what it means there is, as you know, Rabbi was so rich. In those days, Eretz Israel was conquered by the Romans, and there was a Caesar there, and he was Antoninus was his name, and he was very rich. But Rabbi was so rich that he was even richer than Antoninus. That's how rich he was. And the Gemara there, Masechet Eruvin, says that whenever rich people used to visit him, he used to get up for them. We're talking about decent rich people, not Ganavim. To show them respect. So the Gemara says there, why did he do that? He did that because he did not want to take respect because of his chokhmah, even though he wrote the Mishnayot, all the Torah Shebe'al Peh he wrote, and he was one, if not the greatest Talmid Chacham of his generation. He did not want to take kavod for his knowledge. He just wanted to show that he wanted people to respect him because he was rich, only because of that. Because he did not see himself fit that people should respect him because of his Torah knowledge, and also because he did not want to take anything from Hashem, because he felt Torah knowledge is not something that you should take benefit from. So that's the pshat. But Rabbeinu here, he says something, he wants to bring you a proof for what he had said previously, that when you see money or you see people that have money, you should focus on them if they're honest people, and you should try and cleave to that midah that they have, which means that if Hashem gave them money, try and understand and learn from them what it is exactly that they have that's so beautiful that Hashem gave them the money, that they're meritorious to have money. Because money, kedusha, money attracts what it is, kedusha. And this person that is very rich must have a nekudah, otherwise he would not be rich. That's what it means. That's why Rabbi Nachman brings it here. I'm going to carry on a little bit more. Now, Bet is in paragraph Bet. Now, this is interesting. This has to be understood because it sounds a bit weird. You might have people that are listening to us in English and they'll say, well, the Jews with the money again. But it's not exactly that. When Rabbi Nachman here, he says that everybody in Am Israel is Ra'u, is fitting that he should be rich, doesn't mean that exactly. It means a lot more than that. And I'm going to teach you what that means. So he says like Rabbeinu in Likutey Moharan, if you go to Torah Nunted, these are three Torah that you should learn together. Samech Het, this one 68, 69, Samech Tet, and then you have to go back to Nunted because Nunted is a perush of 68, 69. So there he explains, Shemi shemishtadel la'asot nefashot. La'asot nefashot is an expression that is used. Abraham and Sarah didn't have children for many years. But it says there, Et nefesh asher asu beharan. But all the children that were born, even though the parents were Pedro y Maria, or John and Jill, or whatever, but the real father was Abraham. They just brought them to the world. But the ones that brought the neshama to this world, means they gave him the goof. But the neshama came from the zivugim of Abraham and Sarah. So that eventually they all became the Talmidim of Abraham and Sarah. You have the very big yeshivas, you know, and because they were his children. So it says here, if a person wants to be Oseh Nefashot is to teach people Torah. If you want to teach people Torah or attract them to Torah, Ulkare bnei Adam l'Hashem yitvarach, and you want them to come closer, to make it easier for them, that they should come closer to Hashem, Boneh Echal Kodesh, you're making, you know, the Echal that there is in the Shul? Well, there is a spiritual Echal Kodesh in Shamayim, full of Neshamot. And you want to make this a beautiful Echal Kodesh for Hashem, to please Hashem. So you, by bringing and teaching Torah, bringing these Neshamot into the fold, by teaching them Torah, you are making this Echal Kodesh for Hashem. Shebo Kavod Hashem mitgale, and there, or through that, the Kavod Hashem is mitgale in this world. In other words, the further a person is away from Torah, and you teach them Torah, and you bring them to Torah, the more Hashem can appear in this world. So when you are teaching people, when you're making nefashot, in other words, you are bringing them close to Hashem, you are building an Echal Kodesh. It's called an Echal Kodesh. In the shul, you put the Sefer Torah there. In reality, what you're doing is you're putting the Neshamot in this Echal Kodesh, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu can make more and more His presence felt in this world. So, זוכה לגילוי הקדוש ביותר כאשר נפש הרחוק ביותר מהשם שוות ומתקרבות. The reward for a person that teaches Torah, and this is why I encourage you to learn together and to teach your children and others what you learn, is because you are zoche to that divine presence. Because Hashem rewards you for doing that. because you care about Hashem, because you want Hashem to appear in this world, because you want to put a smile in the face of Hashem. When you do that, Hashem puts a smile in your face too. And He appears in your home and in your heart so that you can feel close to Hashem. האדם המקרב אותם מסלק את ההשפעות הרעות שירחיקו אותם מהקדושה. So what you're doing by teaching them Torah is you're answering their questions. There are things that make it difficult for them to get close to Hashem because they're in the trap of the Yetzer Hara. So you show them the way of how to get out of the claws of the Yetzer Hara and fly free. האדם המקרב אותם מסלק את הרע ושירחק אותם מהקדושה וכן זוכה לשם טוב. So what is the reward for this person? That he gets a good reputation. This is a nice guy. He helps people. Like he says in the Torah, Tov Shem, Mishem and Tov. There's nothing better than a good name, better than money, better than anything. When you leave this world, people should say, boy, that guy was good, man. What are we going to do without him now? That is the best thing that you should desire for. If you want to pray for something, pray that you should leave this world and be in this world with a good name. Davar ze mevi lo ashirut, because that is what is going to bring you wealth. That is what is going to bring you wealth. וכן השפעתה גדלה עוד יותר, so that with this money, you can now spread your Torah more and more. In other words, money is you have a contract with money. Money, and we see there are a lot of people that are rich and are not like this. So this we have to answer. The simple answer is that there are people that Hashem gives them everything in this world to give them nothing in the world to come. That we're not interested in, obviously. Now, normally, people, like we say, are not zoche to two shulchanot. It's very difficult. You should find a person that has money and is a Talmid Chacham. Normally, Talmidei Chachamim are poor. But if you want to spread the Torah in this world and you teach it and you're moser nefesh because you love Hashem and you encourage the people that you teach that they should also learn and teach, so you're zoche to have money so that you can carry on doing that. And the reason for that is because that is the thing that pleases Hashem the most. So Hashem will give you the money to be able to do that. ואפילו נפשות שהיו רחוקות ביותר מן הקדושה, even goyim. Moshe Rabbeinu says, the day Yitro made tshuva, if you can imagine Yitro making tshuva, is like the Pope today gets up and says, you know what? I'm going to go and put on tefillin, and I want a shiur of Rabbi Nachman mi Breslov. Because all of this is all lies. He gets up on TV and tells you that. So the Zohar says, the day that Yitro was like the Pope, got up and said that, it gave Hashem a tremendous pleasure. The further away the person is, the more pleasure you give Hashem when you bring him into the fold. And we told you already why. As you remember, if you have kids, and one of them is very, very, very close to the Torah, and the other one is not, and the one that is not close to the Torah phones you, because he never phones you, so you're going to answer the phone to that one before you answer to the one that is close to the Torah and is always calling you. Because why? Because you have a tremendous yearning for that child that is lost. So Hashem is the same. Hashem cries for the children that are either not in the right path, whether they're learning Torah or not, or all the more so the ones that are not learning Torah at all. It causes Hashem a tremendous amount of pleasure because Hashem has pain if his children are not close to him. וכך השפעתו גדלה עוד יותר, ואפילו נפשות שרוקות מן הקדושה שומעות עליו, וגם הן מתחילות להיקרב להשם. So when you make yourself a good name, at the beginning it's people that are more or less in the fold already. But once your name goes far, so people say, there must be something to this guy if he's so famous. Maybe I'll listen to him. So then it makes it easier because you have a good name and you have money For people that are very far, you're very accessible. And they feel if you have money, so it's great, maybe I'll also have money if I become frum and so on and so forth. So that Hashem does all that to help you. But why? Because he's yearning for everybody to come back to him. Now, this good name is your key to Parnassan now, if you're a Talmid Chacham. If you want to make sure that you don't lose that key that opens the bank, a lot of money. So you got to make sure, even if you have a lot of Torah, even if you teach, even if you now have a Shem Tov, that you don't lose your temper, that you're patient with everybody. Because if you do, you will lose the key and you won't have any more money. You'll become poor. Shem Tov הוא סוג של חומה והגנה רוחנית. A good name is like a wall, the walls of your home that protect you. So a good name protects the Talmid Chacham. That fall when a person, these walls of the Shem Tov fall if a person is a ka'asan, if he's not patient with his wife, his kids, his Talmidim, in general, so his Shem Tov will leave him. Rabbi Nathan here explains like this. And we'll see this in Torah Nunted also, Be'ezrat Hashem bli neder. כל יהודי צריך לגלות את כבוד השם בהתאם למדרגתו הרוחנית. There's no such thing as a person say, well, I'm very happy because you finish us, all the Mishnayot, the Chumash and Rashi and the Orach Hayim and whatever. And you now know the Likutey Moharan. For you, it's okay to teach. But for me, it's wrong. A Jew, before he comes down to this world, he is told, whatever you know, you have to teach. The function of a Jew in this world, in effect, is the commandment to teach what you know. There is no other reason why you came into this world. That's why it says in Torah, Mamlechet Kohanim Vegoy Kadosh. We came into this world to teach Torah. That's what we're here for, all of us.
We're all rebels.
The Rabbanim.
We are all rebels.
That's right. That's why I'm telling. That's why I keep encouraging you that you should learn together and teach. Because if you really want to be matzliach in ruhniyut and in gashmiyut, it is only going to be through the Torah. Any other type of wealth is either a punishment, so that you don't get anything in the olam haba, or it's not going to be a wall. It's not going to protect you. Even if it's not a punishment, but it will not protect you. You want wealth that is a bracha. Wealth that is a bracha is not only wealth, but it's also a protection. It's very difficult to have money and to be protected, because money brings jealousy, money brings ayin hara, money attracts thieves, money attracts the wrong people. But if the money that you got comes in the way that we're now describing, then not only will you be rich, but that money will also protect you. It's very important to know that the money should be a bracha, not something that can do you harm. So I'm going to read a bit more and then we'll stop there. And this is the tachlit. This is why every Jew was created for, to teach Torah. And that is why Rabbi Nachman says every Jew is raui to be rich. Why? Because since you came into this world with something to teach the world, whether you know it or not, what you know, once you get to know yourself, if you're honest and you come into touch with your neshama, you'll know that there is something that you know that nobody knows. Every Jew knows something that nobody else knows. That's why the Gemara says, Keshem, shepartzufehem enam shavot. The same thing as you won't see two faces that look the same. Kach de'otehem enam shavot. What one person knows, the other person doesn't know. That's why in the Pirkei Avot he says, and that's the Nefesh HaChaim says like this, Ezehu Chacham, Halomed Mikol Adam. The Chacham is a person that is always looking to know, to learn from the other guy. Why? Because everybody knows something that Hashem taught him before he came down to this world, that only he knows. And you want it, he should teach you that. If you want to be a Chacham, try and learn from everybody. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that because this is the explanation of why every Jew is ra'ui, to be wealthy. Because every Jew knows something that he has. He came down to this world to teach because he is the only one that knows it. Very important to know these things.
Yeah.
Okay, so She'arei Kol Israel Bnei Melachim, because we are all the same. We are all the children of kings. Ve'ya'eh lahem ha'ashirut, and it's befitting that we should be rich. It fits. A medida, be wealthy. Rabbi Nachman, how does this work? שורש שמו של כל אחד מישראל הוא בשמו של השם יתברך. The shoresh of your name, of your neshama, because as you know, Shema Garim, the Gemara says, the name that your parents called you is Min HaShamayim, because that is how Hashem, the gift that Hashem gave you. Your name is an imprint of Hashem in your neshama. שהוא מקור כל ההשפעות. כל יהודי יכול וצריך לעשות בקירוב נפשות אחרות לשם, and you have to try and bring everybody closer into the fold. And by doing this, you're building this echal and you're making the name of Hashem bigger and bigger all the time. Hashem הטוב שהוא זוכה בעקבות כמעניק לו בוודאי שפע רע. So Hashem will give you in רוחניות and גשמיות a constant שפע of ברכה. כיוון שברכת העושר מקורה באותו שורש העליון, כמו הנפש והשם הטוב. Because that's what it means, that the ratzon is the house of both money and your nefesh. Now you understand what it means. The yearning to be close to Hashem is an imprint that Hashem puts on your neshama in the Hechal HaKodesh, in the Hechal HaRatzon. And money has the same imprint. Both of you is mishtokekut to Hashem, Ratzon to be close to Hashem. Now, if you want to come to your money, you first have to come to what is your mission in this world. What is it that you know that is going to help other people to get closer to Hashem? Develop that, cultivate it, learn Torah, teach it. Don't lose your temper when the test comes. And if you pass the test, you will attract the money. Why? Because the money is yearning for the same thing that you're yearning. Because you come from the same place.
Amen.
A place that wants to cleave to Hashem.
Wow.
Let's go on a bit longer and we'll stop there.
Very deep.
Okay, so that's what Rabbeinu means. Just in case there are some people that are listening to Isam Goyim, or that they should know what it is that is the reason why the Jews are the chosen people, and that every Jew is rawi to be rich. It's not because of the money, it's what you can do with the money. And the money helps you to be able to take this world out of the injustice and the lies that there are in this world, to make a home for Hashem, so that not just the Jews, but the whole of humanity can live in peace and in good health, Be'ezrat Hashem. Kadosh Baruch Hu should help us. We'll stop here, we'll carry on tomorrow. They're very important things.
Chazak Baruch, thank you. Tomorrow,
Same time.
okay.
Same time, same place.
ירושלים.
Why not? Why not in Yerushalayim?
ירושלים מן הקודש.
Be'ezrat Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem. I pray for you every day, for the four of you.
Look,
Every day.
Rabbeinu,
Every day.
Rabbeinu, if we ever have chance to live in Israel, all of us,
We open a kollel here and a shul.
but look, we need to move to your neighborhood. Or
We'll have to build a place for us. What can I tell you? We can't stop learning.
Yeah.
Chazak, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Bye.